Well, the Bengals beat the Raiders on Sunday at Paycor Stadium. They sure as hell better. Here are 5 things to watch for in my prediction for Sunday. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. A must win. We're going to get into my 5 things to watch for in just a second. Check out all of our videos this week, including a video on why they should be aggressive ahead of the trade deadline, some potential targets. And some of you have asked, oh, well, why would you do a video like that? It's pretty simple. Just because they haven't made a trade in recent years doesn't mean that we shouldn't hold them to that standard. Of course, the Bengals should add around Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase in this core. I don't care that they're 3-5. Check out both of those videos for more. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. And let's dive into Sunday's game. And the first thing I'm watching for is really my expectation for Sunday. It's the thing that I keep coming back to that I've thought all week, literally from the moment they lost to the Eagles 37-17 and melted down, imploded in the fourth quarter, and all hell broke loose on Bengals social media. I decided that this game against Marvin Lewis and the Raiders is simple. It's about winning. Literally, just win is the first thing I'm watching for. I don't care if you win by 3 or 300. I don't care if you win by running the ball 1,000 times. It does not matter to me. Obviously, that will not be the case. They are not going to run the ball 1,000 times. But the Bengals desperately need a win. They have a 5-day stretch here to save their season. I'm including Sunday in that, right? So Sunday, you got to beat the Raiders. Monday, you have to recover. Tuesday, you install the game plan for Thursday night football. Wednesday, you travel to Baltimore. Thursday, you got to go beat Baltimore. So these are 5 things to watch for. Those are 5 days to save your season. The Bengals have to go 2-0 over a 5-day span to get back to 5-5 and keep their season alive. We'll see if I can continue to rhyme here, but that is it. Just win. That's it. I don't care how pretty it is. There are no style points. Win. Number 2, the Bengals have to contain Maxx Crosby. And I'll be watching for how they attack that with Orlando Brown Jr., who I think has a real shot to play. And by the time this video comes out, you may know about Brown's status. But regardless, containing 98 is the key for this offense. Because if they contain 98, they don't let him wreck the game, this offense should be able to move the ball. This offense should be able to get back to their 30-point per game weeks, which is exactly what they did in weeks 3 through 5. They should be able to put up numbers against the Raiders. And that's what I expect. And one way that won't happen, can't happen, really the only possible way that doesn't happen is if Maxx Crosby wrecks your game. You cannot let Max do that. Containing Maxx Crosby is the most important thing, and it's certainly something I'm watching for from the Bengals. Put Eric All or Drew Sample right next to Cody Ford if he has to play, right next to Orlando Brown Jr. or Marius Mims. Wherever Maxx Crosby goes, you send 2 guys, and you say, we are going to take him away. We are going to limit him. And if you do that, I think you have a really darn good shot of moving the ball on offense. Up next, the 3 other things I'll be looking for, plus my prediction for a must-win matchup against the Raiders. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. The Bengals are more than a touchdown favorite, according to BetUS, on Sunday. And look, they're trying to get their way back into the AFC North, dig their way out of the hole that they've been in, climb their way out of the hole. I keep saying that. That's the biggest pet peeve of mine. But you can get in on the action with BetUS and get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and then a 125% bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. That's right. So you go to betus.com, use code YouTube150, and boom, you get a 150% deposit on your first deposit. That's it. That's a bonus right there. That's free money you could take advantage of right now with BetUS to wager it on. Maybe the over-under, which last I looked, it was 46.5. Get in on the action right now. Maybe you want to combine Joe Burrow's passing yards with Jamar Chase's passing yards. Maybe you want to get in on Chase Brown. Maybe you want to get in on Maxx Crosby sacks. You can get on all the different player props, same game parlays, and so much more with BetUS. It is quick, it is easy. They have the fastest payouts in the industry. So don't delay. Get to BetUS by going to betus.com and getting a 150% bonus on your first deposit with code YouTube150. Everyone remembers the draft. And if you watched us at all, in whether it was here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk or on Locked On Bengals, heck, BengalsTalk.com, I talked about Brock Bowers. And that's number 3. Keep Brock Bowers in check. Hold him to a reasonable amount of yards, receptions. You can't have him go off for 12 catches for a buck 20 and 2 touchdowns. And he's certainly capable of that. I was talking to Eric all about Brock earlier this week, and all was like, oh man, he's so good. He was like, he's so good. He plays like a receiver. Zach Taylor talking about how he runs after the catch like a running back, and the Raiders use him that way. Any third and got to have it down, they're looking at Brock Bowers. They're trying to find Brock Bowers. He is their top weapon. Jacoby Myers is a nice player too, but Brock Bowers is the bread and butter of this offense for the Raiders. And so you got to keep him in check. You don't want him to get going. And we'll see. I could certainly see the path of him being a game-changing player for this Raiders offense against this Bengals defense. So you want to keep him in check. And if you do that, I think that'll go a long way towards keeping this Raiders offense in check. Number 4, I'm watching for a Jermaine Burton breakout. Burton breakout time, baby. He has 2 catches, averaging 44 yards per catch on the season. A catch against the Chiefs for 47 yards, a 41-yard catch last week. Played a season-high 24 snaps. With T. Higgins nicked up, makes a lot of sense. Andre Yosavash not performing and not producing the way they would hope. All right, let's see what Jermaine Burton has. I think he is coming along. I think there were some bumps in the road, and I also think he's really talented. And just because he wasn't ready week 3 or 4 or 5 to have a huge role, maybe he is ready now. And honestly, they don't really have a choice because they're not getting production from anyone else. And that part matters too. You have to see what Jermaine Burton can give you. Obviously, we know he can separate downfield. He has talent. Hopefully he can be consistent, because if so, what a perfect time to have a weapon emerge. You need him to emerge. We'll see if he does. I also think using Mike Gesicki in the slot makes a ton of sense, especially if T's out. You have, and I do think he'll be out. You have Burton on one side. I'm recording this, full disclosure, Friday morning, so I'm not sure exactly what'll happen injury wise, but those are my predictions there for T in Orlando. But Burton one side, you put Gesicki in the slot, and you have Chase on the outside. If you're going to move Chase into the slot, Gesicki can play outside, Andre can play outside, Trenton can play outside, obviously Jermaine can. So you have options there, but you have to find a way to get more explosive, get more playmakers on the field. Jermaine Burton, maybe he's one of those guys. Hopefully he's one of those guys. And number 5, I don't need to see more runs volume-wise, but I need to see more explosive runs. And maybe that means more volume for these guys. Maybe Zach Moss and Chase Brown need a few more reps to get rhythm. It doesn't matter. To me, I think both of these guys can be explosive. Chase Brown, it's obvious. You can see it. I saw Zach Moss last year be explosive for the Indianapolis Colts. So whatever this run game has to do to get it figured out, from running backs to offensive linemen to play calling to scheme, figure it out, because you need to be able to be balanced. Early in the year, they were that. And again, if it's 12 carries, if it's 15 carries, whatever, maybe it's 22 carries. Hopefully it's like 32 carries because they have a huge lead at the end. Regardless, that's what needs to happen. They need to find a way to have some explosive runs. It takes some pressure off of Joe. It takes some pressure off of the other playmakers, whether it's Jamar Chase, Jermaine Burton, etc. So we will see if that happens. And it's prediction time now here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. To me, I look at this game, it is a just win game. Find a way to win. It's the old Al Davis line. Ironic that it's coming against Marvin Lewis and the Raiders, but you just got to win. You get to 4-5, and then you instantly turn your attention to Baltimore. You get to 4-5, you keep your season alive, and you instantly turn your attention to a must-win road matchup on a short week against a division rival and one of the best teams in football. But you have to get there first. And so I don't care how they win, but they have to win. That's my mindset. And I think they do. I think they're going to win this game. I think the Raiders will hang around. Gardner Minshew isn't a bad quarterback. He's far from great, but he's not a bad quarterback. But I think that the Bengals are going to get their first home win of the year. I think that the Bengals are going to control this game, and I expect them to. They will win it 30-17. They'll get to 30 points for the first time since week 5, and they will hold the Raiders to under 20 points. Brock Bowers is scary. Jacoby Myers is a good player. They have some other guys, former Cincinnati Bearcat Trey Tucker, who's got some speed. I get it. Have to find a way to get off the field, contain Brock Bowers, and keep Maxx Crosby in check. If they do those things, they should win on Sunday. I expect them to win on Sunday. And again, the message this week is very, very simple. Just win. For Andrew Foxmiller, I'm James Rapien. I almost went into my Enter the Jungle outro there. But for Andrew Foxmiller, I'm James Rapien. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out this week's episode of Enter the Jungle. It airs every single Tuesday at 8 right here on CBT. For more, you also go to bengalstalk.com. And for Andrew, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.